All right, we got NASCAR President Steve Phelps joining us today. Steve, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Great to be here, Adam.
Obviously, coming off a strong opening weekend of Daytona 500, a lot going on, including the debut of a new media rights partner with the CW. How do you feel like things went both kind of publicly as well as everything you had going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, that was a great week for us. We started off Wednesday with our qualifying numbers were up double digit. The duels were up double digit. The CW, their first race for a full season, I thought it went really well. Some really cool things that came out of that. Numbers were up there as well. On Sunday, obviously, we had a rain delay for roughly 3 hours, so that's always difficult because there's no worse place to be than at a racetrack when it rains. But the numbers were up as well. We were up 13. But there was an energy level there all weekend that I don't think we've experienced in a while, which is saying a lot because it's always a sellout. But it just seemed to be a different level, and so we're thrilled to get things underway.
And we've seen a lot of sponsors coming into the sport. We've seen drivers promoting the sport in ways maybe they haven't been before. How encouraged have you been by that to start the 2025 season?
So we started a new program called the Driver Ambassador Program. It encourages drivers to give of themselves time, effort, to essentially build the sport and build their own brand while they're doing it. And we've had some really good success out of the gate, so I expect big things for that, for the balance of the year.
We saw Junior Motorsports, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team make their debut in the Cup Series. How big was that for NASCAR? Do you want to see them back full-time or at least in other capacities and other races?
Dale Earnhardt Jr., he and his sister, Kelly, they're a backbone of the sport. Obviously, their dad, Dale Earnhardt Sr., have had lots of success in the Xfinity Series, won last year's championship. This was the first time Junior Motorsports, had fielded a car in the Daytona 500. I spoke to them both before the race and in the weeks prior, and they were just giddy. When they made the race, which was in jeopardy because they're an open team, not a charter team, and they were super nervous, but it was fantastic. And then I saw them both at the grid, and I said, "Well, are you nervous?" He's like, "Not nervous at all, just excited, right, to be here." So I'm hoping they'll field cards more this year, and I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future. We'd love to see them run full time, obviously. They're just good people.
And we know that you're bullish about bringing a fourth OEM into the sport, maybe even a fifth. What do you think are the chances that we could see one as soon as next year?
Listen, we're in some discussions. It's a lot of work, right? And there's a lot of prep work that needs to happen, even if we came to an agreement today. I don't know what that timing is. To me, it's really more about getting it done, making an announcement for a fourth. Ideally, we'd have a fifth. I think our 3 existing OEMs would be really happy about that. It just kind of creates more balance, obviously, but also it allows for additional funding to teams that are not really getting the funding that some of the other teams are getting. So I think there are lots of benefits to having a new OE come in. They'll come and they'll advertise, they'll talk about their brands, and they'll promote drivers, and all of it's accretive to the sport.
And just finally, how's development going for the 2026 schedule? And has NASCAR ever seen this much interest both domestically and internationally?
Well, the team's working hard at it. Certainly nothing to announce today. We're trying to get ahead of it a little further. Instead of announcing in August or September, we'd like to pull that up earlier. What that timing is, I don't know. Lots of discussions domestically, discussions internationally. We have our race in Mexico City in June, so we're excited about that as well. And then, 3 new media partners with Amazon, Turner Sports, and obviously the CW. So really excited to see how those things play. And obviously the CW has seen good numbers thus far in the Xfinity Series. I think it's gonna bode really well for both Amazon and Warner Brothers Discovery, in the rest of the season.
Thank you so much for your time and insight today, Steve. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, Adam.